Good evening and welcome to the Whiskey Lover Society with me, Gert Retief. Tonight, it's all about the peat. And of course, all depend on the peat that you like. Do you like the big peat? You like maybe the hospital TCP iodine type of peat? What about a little bit of a savory peat, a little bit of a bacony peat, a little bit of a ham type of peat? What about a little bit of a sweet peat? Fruity flavored peat. We have a little bit of a sherry flavored peat. What about a little bit of a barbecue peat? So many type of peats. Or maybe you do like something that is a little bit on the ashy side. That little bonfire that's burnt out and just your embers and a little bit of ash that is left behind. So it all depends on what is your preference. And of course, you need to try everything to get something that is correct for you, something that you enjoy. Now, for me personally, the iodine hospital band-aids or just plain TCP disinfectant, that's definitely not something that I appreciated. I don't really like it. I've tried some of them, especially Lefroy can be quite medicinal. Octimore, I heard about it. I haven't tried it before. For me, there's no way that I'm paying that amount of money for a bottle of no age statement whiskey that it smells and tastes like a hospital or burnt rubber. So my journey into the peated whiskies, not very extensive, but I did try quite a number of them. I will put a link in the description to a list of all the previous peated whiskies that I tried and like. One that really stands out for me is the Benromach 10-year-old. That was quite pleasant for me. Also the Amrut peated whiskey. I really enjoyed that one. Nice, sweet, savory type of smoke coming out. And for me, I think it's quite a little bit with a balance with the whiskies. I like a little bit of a peat, a little bit of a sweetness, a little bit of a fruity note to come out. So maybe you know about one of these whiskies that I would enjoy. Leave a comment. Tell me which peated whiskey you would recommend for somebody that is not into that hospital iodine type of nose. So on to tonight's whiskey. It's a Connemara Peated single malt. Of course, very strange. It is not a whiskey from the Islay region in Scotland. This one is an Irish whiskey. And I think this is going to be my first Irish whiskey that is peated. I did have a look online, and I know there is some more distilleries in Ireland that actually import the peat from Scotland. Although apparently they have their own peat, but it seems that they import the Scottish stuff. And so there is some more expressions with regards to peat. So this one is bottled at 46% ABV. Unfortunately, there is some color added, although not much considering the light gold color of it. It is a no age statement whiskey, and the cost is around €30. So more or less a budget whiskey, also part of my budget whiskey series. And very difficult to find information on who actually produces it. So if I do get it wrong, I'm sorry, but the internet was all over the place. So it seems that it's produced by the Cooley Distillery in Ireland. And it's part of the Kilbeggan family. And Suntory is the owners of all the brands, and they are also the distributors of this whiskey. So a little bit complicated, and if I'm wrong, you can please correct me in the comments. I always appreciate it if some people leave comments, and especially if I do make a mistake. Don't take any offense to that. So the information is a little bit like pulling teeth, but hopefully I got it right. So, onto the whiskey. Just a quick warning on this one. I did try it a little bit last night. Needs a little bit of time in the glass. On the first pour, it was a little bit of a disturbing one for me. And after some time, it did open up so many new flavors, so many new aromas. So this one I poured about 15 minutes ago, just to give it a little bit of an oxidization. So on the nose, cheers. Oh, now when I first poured it, the smokiness was definitely there. Like I said, a little bit of an unpleasant one, but after 15 minutes in a glass, really opens up and it's really, really nice. So it's got this lovely, light, sweet, fruity, smoky nose to it. So for me, that's ticking the boxes. I like the sweetness of it. I like the fact that it's only a hint of a smoke coming out. And I do like the fruity flavors. And not every time, I do get a little hint of a mint coming out as well. So fruit-wise, I do get a little bit of a green apple note. A little bit of a honey note coming out. A light honey with a little citrus note in it. Also get a little bit of that citrus note is something like a lemon rind, where you just get a sprinkling of sugar on it. So it is a hint of the citrus notes coming out. And I do get a little bit of a vanilla note as well. So I presume ex-bourbon cask was used. So absolutely fantastic on the nose. So if the nose goes into the taste, I will be quite happy. So the smoke, it's a very subtle smoke. It's a smoke right there in the distance. And every now and again, the wind just brings you a little bit of that barbecue smoke coming in your direction. And you just get that hint of that smoke. Also get a little bit of a butter note. And that's something that I picked up yesterday as well. If you just bring it not too close to your nose, I get a little bit of a butter note, and it reminds me a little bit of a croissant here in Belgium. A freshly baked croissant. Just a hint of that. Very inviting nose, and that's something definitely that I would give to somebody that's new to peat and that's a little bit scared of that big hospital notes. I think this one is quite for you. So happy with that. So on the taste, cheers. Now it definitely reminds you that this is a smoky whiskey. So I get that big hit of the smoke and a little bit of a sweetness coming in it as well. A little bit of a oily mouthfeel as well. The smoke is fantastic. It reminds me a little bit of a smoked mackerel, the fish. A nice oily fish. Put it in a smoke box and you wait until it's cool. The next day you take it out of the fridge and you take pieces of this fish, and that reminds me that type of smoke coming out. Really, really nice. Alcohol wise, it is not very strong. It is 40% ABV, but it does feel a little bit youthful to me. It is a no age statement, but it gives that little bit of a young alcohol bite in the mouth. And a little bit of oak also appearing. There is a sweetness to it, but it is not a lot of sweetness. It's a little fruity sweetness for somebody that likes sweet things. Maybe not for you, but I find it quite interesting, quite a nice balance between the sweetness and the smoke, and then just that hint of oak to break everything down. So also a little bit of a burnt caramel, and I think that it comes from the bourbon cars. A hint of a dark chocolate, um, and I would describe it as the chocolate that was with a little bit of a mint in it. So that mintiness from the nose actually came down into the taste as now I do get a little bit more oak, but not much. Still perfect for me. There's a hint of a sourness also appearing. So not blowing the mind. I think the Ben Romach, I think, was still better. Also, the Ben Riach Curiositas was also nice. A little bit more peat than this one. But I will put this one definitely up there as one of the maybe the top 3 or top 4 smoky ones that I've tasted during the course of this year. Course of last year, back into 2022. So the finish, well, I will describe it as follow. So you start off that little bit of that smokiness, which is quite prominent in the first sip. You get that sweetness, a little bit of a burnt caramel, the smoke, and then you get a little bit of more oak, and then in the end it just lingers with that little bit of a sweet oak to the finish. So quite pleasant actually. So love the nose. Not a huge fan of the taste. I think because of that little bit of a burnt caramel note can be a little bit distracting for many people. But I think a lot of people will actually enjoy this one. And the more time I spend with this one, the more I like it. And I think I'm also getting used to the smoky ones. I'm getting used to some of the bitter notes that I get with some of the whiskies. So the tolerance have been built up. And so this one, I will definitely recommend it. For somebody that's new to peated whiskies, I think you will definitely enjoy it. So score-wise, I'm going to give it a 78 out of 100. So you've come this far. All you need to do now is subscribe, like it, dislike it, comment, and I see you next time. Cheers.